In Streetball, I asked you to send me some questions so that we can answer it in the next episode of ISIAY.
Leave your questions on the comments below, and I'll answer some of them on the next episode of ISIAY.
Alright everyone, welcome back to ISIAY number 6. This one is a little late, I am sorry about that, but that's because, well, number one, I really did actually kind of forgot about it. I was planning to actually record it on, the end of the month, so that, or, just a couple of days before the end of the month, so that I can actually post it on the end of April, but I did actually forget it. I did actually forget to record that, and I didn't really have any time when I did remember. So, yeah, I'm forced to just record right now. But the other reason is, if you've seen my post, I really did not enjoy Streetball AllStar that much at April. Yasmin just really, they went too far with Yasmin, and even now, the nerf that they gave her, it's not enough. It's still really stupid. Unless they got rid of the extra accuracy and lowered it to just 7% disturbance resistance, or maybe 7% disturbance resistance and 3% extra accuracy buff. Unless they do that, I legitimately don't think that Yasmin is going to be balanced. The bonuses that she gives his entire team for free, basically, it's just way too much. It's just not fun to play against. And even if you are playing with her, it's not really fun either. When, you're not playing because of skill, you're winning because you have a pay-to-win character. So, yeah. I haven't really been enjoying the game on April. Hopefully, I'll enjoy SBA, here at May. Let's hope I do, because I'm not joking when I said I might just quit in 1 to 3 months from now. The game has been so annoying. It has not been that fun. I'm not gonna be lying to you guys. It just hasn't been that fun because of all these broken characters. Elise, still not nerfed properly. Yasmin, not nerfed properly. Robbie, still not nerfed properly. SGs, in general, 3-point shooters, contested. Even SFs, contested 3-pointers. Still not nerfed properly. So yeah. Let's hope something happens, I guess. It's just, it's been disappointing. It really has. I haven't been having that much fun. That's another reason why I wasn't able to record the CI. I just really wasn't feeling like it. And when I did actually, like I said, I forgot about it. And when I did remember, I didn't have the time. So, let's go ahead and get into our questions for CI number 6. So, the first question that we have here comes from iCat-san, and her question is, so hypothetically, if Yelise and Long Blocker are banned, SW is same tier as Rika. And the answer is yes. That is actually true. If Elise was banned, if Alto, or now Malik, the new character, Ranger, Robbie, and Emily, if they were banned, Silver Wolf is actually OP. But in all honesty, right now in the game, with how overpowered defenders are, to be more exact, defender bigs, Silver Wolf is not even close to being the most OP character in the game right now. He really isn't. So yeah, if you banned those characters, he definitely will be overpowered. But right now, he is not the most overpowered guy in the entire game. There's just so many overpowered characters right now that counter Silver Wolf really hard. And so, you know, he's not really the most OP right now. Which is good, he's not as OP, but the problem is, to make him not OP, you have to use OP characters. Then again, you can do it with Ranger, but, you know, that one's just an exception. He has flying block. Nikolai, you might be able to actually do well as well, but yeah. If you do actually block those guys, if you ban them, Elise and other long blocking OP bigs, then yes, Silver Wolf becomes OP. He does. He's really, really overpowered. It's just that there's a lot of characters that actually counter him right now. So yeah, thank you very much for that question, iCat Sam. And let's move on to our second question. So our second question here comes from Fredeline Arlen, or Fredeline Arlene, who asks, what the best skill affix to Alto? And there are actually a couple of answers to this. So number one, I just want to inform you already, Tough Guy is pretty much mandatory for all bigs, even those with max power, because guess what, you're still getting dunked on because this is SBA. But yeah, Tough Guy is mandatory. It's a mandatory affix to have for all characters, except maybe for point guards. That's it. Point guards are probably the only ones who don't need Tough Guy fix, but everybody needs Tough Guy. Everybody else needs them. So with that being said, of course, Alto also needs Tough Guy. So you're gonna need to get Tough Guy for Alto. That's going to be your main priority. But once you do get Tough Guy, the second best that you can give him, Destroyer is a good choice, but I do think that giving him Gladiator is a better idea, so that you can actually keep on dunking on enemies. If they do actually block you, right? Since the most effective build for Alto is still max power Alto, so giving him Gladiator would make you way more of a monster offensively, and that's why, in my opinion, that's the best that you can give Alto, aside from Tough Guy, with Destroyer being decent replacement for Gladiator if you do prefer defense. But with the Diafix for skills, in my opinion, it's best to actually give Alto Enhanced Block or Lightning Dunk. Again, it depends. What would you prefer to do? Defend or actually score the ball? So it depends there. If you prefer offense and scoring, go for Lightning Dunk. But if you prefer defense and just blocking dunks and shots in general, go for Enhanced Block, because those two are actually the best that you can get for Alto. There is Diving Block. They do have an affix for that. Thank goodness, by the way, that they actually have an affix for Flying Block now. It's just really needed. I do have it on my Ranger now. It doesn't really change anything, but it's still nice to have that they actually have an affix for it now. But yeah, you're gonna need those. Diving Block is actually an affix for Alto, but in all honesty, it's pretty bad. It's actually not a good affix for Alto, since what it does is it just makes it so that you're more successful at actually blocking dunks with it. If you've seen my videos before, you know that you don't want to actually use Diving Block if you're defending dunks. The only exception is if you're fighting Lightning and he's dunking from afar and he's using double pump dunk. You can use Diving Block there. It'd be pretty effective, but that's pretty much it. Oh, and toss dunk as well. If you know how to time it right, you might actually be able to block with it, be pretty effective with it. But that's pretty much it. Diving block just makes it so that you have a harder time at actually blocking dunks. So yeah, if you're gonna use an affix, a die affix, it's going to be either lightning dunk for offense, or you're gonna want to get enhanced block for defense. And hey, if you get glowing die, maybe you can get those too, you know. But yeah, thank you very much for the question, Fredeline or Lee. And let's go ahead and move into our next question. So, the next question that we have here comes from Ralph and Co., who asks, is Julian still viable? I think I made a mistake of maxing him first. Definitely viable. You did not make a mistake, don't worry. Julian is still 100% viable. Actually, he's more effective now since they just recently buffed the fadeaway mid-range for all SFs, which I really don't think they should have done that. In fact, they should have nerfed that. SFs have been making way too many contested one of those. They really should have nerfed that, not buffed it, but whatever. This is SBA, yada yada. Even without that buff though, Julian has always been actually effective and still is actually effective right now. Ever since they actually, buffed this accuracy. As long as you actually know what you're doing, you mix up your shots, you actually do pass your teammates, you don't use the same move over and over, flash shot, and you do drift too, you do layups here and there. As long as you're shooting smart, Julian is still definitely viable and you can find success with him. So don't worry about that. Julian is still 100% viable. So thank you very much, Ralph and Co., for that question. Now, let's go ahead and get into our next question. So, the next question comes from the Cupid, who asks, what do you think is the most unstoppable scoring strat in the game right now? And that's a really good question, honestly. That is 100% a good question. We have Yasmin's stupid ability that makes Fire King, Misaki, pretty much all SGs, Marcus, makes all of them be able to shoot stupid shots and actually make them. No skill, You have that strategy, but you also have the strategy of dunk spam with Zachary Scream. You've got the strategy of dunk spam of Edward's Screen. You've got the strategy of dunk spam with Pinky Screen. You have strategy of dunk spam with Lightning's bugged close shot, which makes him unblockable unless you jump in one frame. You've got the dunk spam with Alto, which again, if you don't jump in just one frame, if he uses a close dunk, lightning dunk, he's going to dunk on you, or he's going through you, I should say. And you've also got even without Misaki, or even without Yasmin, just contested trees in general, going in here and there. It's a lot to take in, but still, even with all this stupid stuff happening, I still think the most effective strategy out of all is still dunk spam. It's still going to be dunk spam. They haven't nerfed it properly, and if you watch top players on the leaderboard, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna do dunk spam because it's just that effective. It's just that overpowered, And in my opinion, even with all the stuff that's happening right now in the game, all the stupid overpowered strats, dunk spam still comes out on top as, the most effective and most obnoxious. You know what? No, I take it back. It's the most effective, but Yasmin is still way more obnoxious. I hate her so much, man. But yeah, I think dunk spam is still going to be the most unstoppable scoring strat right now. And to be more specific, I think the dunk spam that's going to be, or still is, the most unstoppable is if you combine Robbie and I'd say Edward. I still think that toss down spam is the hardest to stop in the entire game, since you literally need two bigs, or if not, you need a big and another scorer that has tough guy, and both of you guys will need to know how to block him properly and what position you have to take to actually do it properly. So you're pretty much forced to be good at actually stopping him to stop him. You can't be mediocre or else he's gonna easily score on you. So yeah, Edward and Robbie, in my opinion, is still the most effective way to actually just keep scoring and winning games at the moment in the game. So yeah, thank you very much for that question, the Cupid. And let's get into our next question. So the next one that we have here is from 29 Razons, who asks, if you could have a starting five made of SBA characters, who would you pick and why? That's a really good question. This one's a little more personal, I appreciate it, but so let's see. Starting five. Now, I'd say there's going to be just three versions of this, right? Three different versions. So at number one, the first kind of version is the actually like most effective in the entire game, right? Like it's just meta version. It's the top five or the number one in each position in meta. But number two, there's also my personal favorite as characters, right? In the entire game, my favorite characters, and I'm gonna be putting in a top, at top positions. But number three, we also have my headcanon. Who do I think, if the game, in the entire game, and my headcanon is legitimately the best top five in the entire game, skill wise, is my headcanon for the characters of SBA. So let's go with the best characters in the game right now first at top five. So at point guard, I'm gonna have to say, even with how OP Yasmin is, Boa's defense is just so good that I'm still actually gonna be taking her. I'm going to take Boa first, since again this is going to be a top 5, so it's going to be a 5v5, right? It's not going to be a 3v3, it's a 5v5. That's why I'm taking Boa over Yasmin. And at shooting guard, the most effective right now, I'm going to have to say that I'm going to pick Misaki. She was actually nerfed, but if you know what you're doing with her, she still has a stupid hitbox. Still really, really annoying to try to stop, especially if you don't know how to actually defend her as well as others. You're going to be struggling a lot with her. So that's why I'm still going to pick her. A lot of characters, a lot of players still actually struggle with defending her solo. And a lot struggle even more if you actually screen her. So yeah, I'm going to be taking Misaki at shooting guard. At small forward, this one's actually a little more tricky. See, Camille is, I'd say, a little easier to score with, but Rika's defense is already so good, and she can still score really, really well, really obnoxiously, that, you know, I'm still gonna have to pick Rika overall. So, at point guard, I have Boa. At shooting guard, I have Misaki. And at small forward, I have Rika. We're all girls. Wow, alright. And at power forward, oh, another girl, look at that. I'm gonna be choosing Elise. She's the most broken character in the game right now. Elise is still overpowered. She is the most overpowered character in the game right now. And that's why I'll be choosing her. Her defense is literally goated. There's no escaping it. Unless they nerf the amount of times that you can spam that stupid sprint, that stupid dash. Unless they actually give it a proper timing. She's gonna continue to be overpowered, but yeah. I'm choosing Elise at power forward. And at center, I'm gonna be choosing Robbie, actually. Emma would make more sense with the lineup that I have, but Robbie's defense is just so punishing. And combine that with Elise's already most overpowered defense in the entire game. And those two can pretty much lock down anybody they come across. So when it comes to meta, those are who I choose, okay? In meta, those are the characters who I'm gonna choose as my starting 5 when it comes to being a tryhard. So now, let's go ahead and get into my starting 5 as favorites. So, at point guard, it's going to be Neko. She's my favorite point guard still. I love her. Such a great character, such a great design, not overpowered and yet very effective. I'm going with Neko. I just love Neko so much. She's such a great character, and she's going to be my point guard. And at the shooting guard position, it's going to be Marcus. You know, he's my favorite shooting guard character of all. And that's why I'm choosing him. Marcus is just such a cool character and very effective, very fun to play. That's why he's going to be at the shooting guard position. At small forward, I'm choosing Camille. Again, very fun character to play with, very cool design. Everything about Camille is just so good, so I'm choosing Camille. And at power forward, I'm choosing Rocket. As much as he was screwed over by the game, and he's still getting bullied right now, but it's whatever. I'm still going to be choosing him. Rocket is still going to be my starting 5 when it comes to being favorite characters. Now with center, it's a little bit different, since if you guys watch my favorite, characters list, you know that those 4 are already listed. At center though, I don't really have one listed, but I do actually want to use Daisuke if I did have a chance. I think Daisuke's design is really cool. Concept of this great dunk blocker, just really cool to me. That's why I'm choosing Daisuke to be at my favorite starting 5. So those guys are who I'm gonna choose. Neko at point guard, Marcus at shooting guard, Camille at small forward, Rocket at power forward, and a center we have Daisuke. So yeah, that right there is going to be my favorite starting 5. And when it comes to headcanon wise, lore wise, in my opinion, this is how it's listed. So at point guard, it's going to be White. In my opinion, at the lore of the game, White is going to be the best point guard in the entire game, since he's going to act like Kuroko basically. He's going to act like Kuroko, and you know, he's just gonna be amazing at passing. So that's why, in my opinion, again in my head canon, White's going to be the top point guard. And at shooting guard, it's Marcus. In my opinion, he's going to be the best basketball player in the entirety of Streetball All-Star universe. He's best at ISO. He's the best dribbler in the game. Well, again, lore-wise, in my opinion. So that's why he's going to be my starting 5. Marcus, in my opinion, in my head canon, is going to be the best offensive character in the game. And at small forward, I'm actually torn between either Martin or Camille. Okay, lore wise, I think those two are actually neck and neck, but if I do have to choose, I'm still gonna choose Camille, just because in my imagination, he's the I'm gonna shoot in your face guy, and you can't do anything about it. I'm just gonna sink it in your face. So that's why Camille is going to be the SF, in my opinion. And power forward in my starting 5, lore wise, I am going to be choosing Nikolai, my favorite character in the entire game. I'm going to be choosing Nikolai because defensively, again, my headcanon, he's like leagues above others, right? He's going to be the shutdown guy. That's why I am choosing Nikolai as a power forward in my lore-wise or headcanon starting 5. And lastly, at center, I think it's actually going to be Daisuke again, since in my mind, he's just like this unstoppable dunk blocker, right? So lore-wise in the game, I'd say Daisuke is going to be the best center in the entire game, and that's why he's actually my starting 5. So yeah, that one took quite a while. I really enjoyed talking about that one, so thank you very much for that great question, 29 Razans. And let's go ahead and get into the next one. So our next question here comes from Teshin Dream, who asks, how do you feel about the lack of character variety you see in Ladder? Very disappointing. I'm just very disappointed by it. And the thing is, I don't even blame them. I cannot blame them. Why would you use, let's say, Howie, or Big Mike, or Victor, or even Big O? Why would you use Hoy, or Susan? Why would you use Natalie now? Why would you use Ben? Why would you use, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Rocket? Why would you use Uncle Kevin? Why would you use just those characters if you can use Elise instead of Rocket? If you can use Rika instead of Ben? If you can use Misaki instead of Hoy, instead of Maggie? If you can use Boa instead of just using a weaker point guard? Why would you use those characters? Why would you use Victor? Why would you use him if you can just use Emily? Victor, a great dunk blocker and a good shot blocker. Why would you use that if you can just use Elise, an amazing dunk blocker and a downright busted shot blocker? Why would you use them if you have OP characters like that? I'm very disappointed, but I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. It's the most effective way to play the game. Why would you use these characters if they suck? So that's my feeling. That's my feeling about the lack of variety on ladder. It's just very disappointing, but I can't really blame them. If these characters suck, why would you use them? That's just it. So yeah, let's hope that, now what am I saying? It's not gonna change. It's not gonna change. They're gonna keep trying to get more money, but you know, maybe in the future we'll get better updates, actual fair characters, and characters finally get the buffs they deserve. Maybe in the future. But yeah, thank you very much for that question, Tesh and Dream. And let's get into our next question from Michael Knight 5097, who asked, could you do a how-to video about maxing out stats in different builds using assist characters? I'm not going to do one anymore because I already have done one. I'm going to link it in the description if I don't forget. If I don't forget to link it, I'm going to link it in the description. You can already find it in my videos. I talk about all the ways that you can actually increase your stats and how you can max out your raw stats as much as you can in all the different ways that you can. So go ahead and watch that if you are looking to actually see every single way for you to increase your raw stats. So thank you very much for that question, Michael Knight. And let's get into our last question from, or last question, singular, for this video. And that's going to be from Flo the Goat, who asks, how would you nerf characters like Misaki and Robbie? Well, you just need to make them weaker. That's pretty much it. It's just that simple. So with Robbie, for example, I'm gonna make his hitbox a lot, and I mean a lot smaller, make it about as good as Big Mike's, and I'm going to reduce his character design size. He's just way too big, way too hard to look around if Robbie's actually screening, way too much of an advantage. So with those two alone, Robbie's advantages just like already becomes pretty bad, right? But I won't only just do that. I'm also going to reduce the rebound ability, since he's already so good at defending. I don't think it's fair that he's also really good at rebounding. So that's what I'm going to do with Robbie personally. And let's say for Misaki, she was already banned or already nerfed. Her shot takes just a little bit longer now, but that's not enough. What I'm gonna do is not on Misaki herself, but on the skill site. I'm gonna make it so the leeway that you get for shooting shots aren't that big. I'm gonna lower it a lot and make it way more fair for solo defenders to actually be able to still block you. That's going to lower Misaki's effectiveness a real lot. So that's what I'm going to do with those characters. And with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about other characters as well. How will I nerf them? Let's say with Rika. Just make it so that shorter characters can actually block her. And you know, you don't just keep on going through her. It's just not fair. How am I going to nerf, let's say, Emily? Well, I'll make it so that she's not that fast. She doesn't move that fast. And instead, she's just going to have that blocking ability, but she's not going to be moving that fast. Okay, she is going to have Big Mike speed or something like that because she is big. So she's not going to be fast, She can block from further still, but she's not going to be fast. I think that's going to be fair. How would I nerf Elise? I'll make it so that her dash has a, I'd say this is only fair, about 15 seconds of cooldown, maybe 13. Anything less than 10 is still just unfair for anybody trying to go up against Elise. Also, I'm going to lower her block range, because it's really insane how far she can block you. It's that simple. I'm just going to balance them by changing the obvious things that makes them OP. That's pretty much it. I'm going to balance whatever makes them OP. Let's say with a new character, right? Let's say Yasmin. What makes her OP? Well, she makes it so that she herself and her teammates can shoot contested shots real effectively without, making it hard for them. It's a no skill ability. So what should I do? That's right, I'm gonna nerf that and make it only 3% accuracy boost and 7% disturbance resistance, which is actually me being giving them a little bit more leeway, because that is still a lot of boost, but I'll take that any other day over this change that they did, which is 10% still extra accuracy and 10% disturbance resistance. It's insane. But yeah, I'm gonna change those characters by targeting what makes them so OP in the first place. Elise, her defense is what makes her OP. Well, then I'm gonna target her defense. Vanessa, what makes her so OP is her rebounding. Well, then I'm gonna target her rebounding. Shooters like Yasmin, right? What makes her OP? It's her boost. Well, I'm gonna target her boost then. I'm gonna nerf that. It's not really hard to nerf these characters. It really is not. It's just that, the game devs need to make their money. They need to make more than what they're already getting, which is pretty insane to me. If you fought, I'd say, even if you just played let's say about 100 games in Diamond, right? You've more than likely encountered at least half of the time, so about 50 times 3 players, so that's about 1 in 3 players that you encounter in a match, they already have a pay to win suit or something. So that means this game is already getting a lot of money, but they want more apparently. So yeah, it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. But yeah, that's how I'm gonna nerf those characters, by targeting what makes them OP. That's how I'm gonna nerf them, and that's how the game should nerf them as well. But yeah, that's it for this video of ISIAY. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope this hasn't been too boring. I've had a lot to say. Again, I haven't been enjoying the game as much, because everything is so OP right now. Everything is just so OP. Let's hope that they fix this somehow, because I really might just quit. I really might. It just hasn't been that fun anymore. I'm hoping that they balance out the game properly. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that there's some information here that you've learned that can help you. I hope that you've been entertained somehow, and I'll catch you on the next one.